Hello, welcome back to Bet Builders on Free Super Tips. I'm Statman Dave, and today I'm joined by Flav from the Fighting Cock. We're here to give you our bets for the third weekend of the Premier League. I'm excited that it's back. Gareth Bale is back in the Premier League. That's got to be a boost, hasn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we thought he was going to be stuck in Real Madrid for the remainder of his contract. He's actually managed to come back to my club, Tottenham Hotspur. And even if he's half the player he was that he left 7 years ago, then he's going to add so much to the league. He's such an exciting player.
Absolutely. We've got to talk about Spurs later on in the show. We're going to be touching on Manchester United's poor start. They've got to do the business against Brighton. We're also going to look at the title race. And again, we're going to dive into other bets, other fun things. We're going to drop all the statistics and tactical parts around that as well. Of course, if you want to check out more tips, go on to freesupertips.com. But remember to gamble responsibly. Now, I think it's time to look at last week's bets because we had some winners, Flav.
No, three are here.
3 winners. Rory didn't get any winners, but you've got to do a bit better than him this week.
Hands down, no problem.
Hands down, simple as that. It was a 2-0 win for me over Rory. We got an absolute banger, a 9-2 in the Leicester-Burnley game, and 11-2 in the City game. Raul Jimenez scored. Of course, KDB scored, and then, we won the bet, simple as that. And of course, FST got a banger as well, 11-2. So we had a really good week last week, Flav. I think it's time to dive into the action and talk about the first game. First up, we've got to dive into Brighton versus Manchester United. Graham Potter's Seagulls have looked really good, progressive out of the back. How impressed have you been with them this season?
Really impressed, and the reputation of Graham Potter, wasn't for most fans. You didn't really know who he was when he joined. And he's been given this huge contract, a very long contract. They believe in what he's doing, and it's starting to prove that they were correct to do so. They're playing really nice football. They're committing to their style. They're playing the ball on the ground. Bought some really good players, Lamptey especially. I mean, how Chelsea have let him go is bizarre. But you saw it against that game against Newcastle, completely dominated, man of the match, hands down. And yeah, we're really excited by what Brighton are going to be doing this year.
Absolutely, they're 3-4-1-2 or 2-1. How they move around, how they interchange with back 3, back 4, it's just brilliant. And Lamptey's just been sensational and will cause United a lot of problem on United's left-hand side. For Manchester United, a really sluggish end to the season, especially in the Europa League.
Yep.
The defence looks very, very wobbly at the moment. They were very poor against Crystal Palace. Wilfried Zaha had a number of the defenders in his back pocket for the entirety of the game. What do United need to do in the transfer market?
Well, they're looking at attackers, but I think they need to strengthen at the back. Perhaps Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire are there to stay, although his form, Maguire's especially, was very, very shoddy, especially towards the end of last season. The other two, Lindelof and Luke Shaw, it feels like they need to be replaced. I think they should stop thinking about Sancho and start thinking about some centre-backs.
The interesting side of that as well, Mason Greenwood has had his hand in 22 goals since the start of last season. Only Martial and Rashford have managed more for United. They have potency going forward. Maybe it's time to look at the back of the defence, potentially even the goalkeeper with Dean Henderson looking really good in midweek as well. But shall we have a look at the bets?
Come on in.
First up, Flav, we've got your bets coming on screen in 2 seconds. What have you gone with today?
Well, I've been so impressed with Connolly. Every time he plays, he's a nuisance. He gets his head down, he runs, he pulls defenders all out of the shop, all out of place. And, you saw against Newcastle what a great finisher he is as well. He caused untold damage against my team, Tottenham. So I think it's a good bet to get him in the side. And Rashford, anytime, how damaging he can be. So, both teams to score in the second half, where most goals come from in Premier League football anyway. I think it's not bad at 40-1.
Not bad. I like the Conley. Conley looked really, really good in the last few games.
Yeah.
And Marcus Rashford, of course, scored midweek against Luton. That was a flowing move. Really, United back to their best there. But I do like it. I think it's got a lot of flavour in there, Flav. Now let's take a look at my bet as well, because I've got a slightly different, a little bit of tweaks. Because the big one for me, Bruno Fernandes anytime. Bruno Fernandes, of course, scored twice against Brighton. That shot from outside the area and the flowing counter attack that was just clinically put into the back of the net. I think that is a good one. United to win. I think they look good when the opposition have to play. Brighton are a team that will play out from the back. United are kind of suited to that counter-attacking style. They beat Brighton last season 3-0 and 3-1, so kind of going with that and over 2.5 goals in this game. I think there's, as you sort of mentioned, Brighton looks so good going forward. Even against Chelsea, they lost the game 3-1, but they scored a really good goal. So that's what I kind of expect, over 2.5. Now it's time to have a look at FST's tips and bets for the game. They got Brighton double chance draw, both teams to score. So they're very much backing against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you want to get involved with that, it's 11-5. Flav, what do you make of that?
It's very, in terms of finding value in the game, then why not back Brighton? The defence is shoddy. Brighton are good going forward. I like it.
So moving on, Chelsea come into the game against West Brom needing rhythm. I thought they were a bit sloppy in their first 2 games, Liverpool especially. But you're looking at West Brom, conceded the most goals in the league. This is the perfect match for Lampard to really kickstart their season.
Yeah, definitely. And with the quality they've got going forward, I know the game against Liverpool they weren't great, but they did lose that man. And playing against Liverpool at that, with only 10 men, it's very, very difficult. So Chelsea will. I think the quality will be out. They've got so many good players now. Their transfer window is incredible. West Brom, as you say, vulnerable, coming up back into the Premier League. Haven't really invested enough, you think, to keep them in the league. So, yeah, perfect time for Chelsea's plan.
Werner, we're going to go with
Havertz.
We're going to Pulisic.
Yeah, I like Pulisic. Very good player, very technical. Probably will should get game time, I think. But they've bought so many forward players. Who else?
Got Mason Mount could play in the hole. Yep. Into midfield, you got Kante, Kovacic is probably number one.
Yeah.
In terms of that pairing. In goal is big question marks. Mendy is signed, but will he be fit for the weekend? Probably not.
Well, Kepa's been such a liability, hasn't he? He's been terrible. And for many years, and this is the thing, they spent £75 million on him, and they've brought in Mendy, and you could see when Czech was on the phone during the game, he was just like, we've got to get him in now. Kepa's
we've got to go now. And that back four as well, it's, we haven't seen the back four, sort of the best strength back four. Chilwell, you're looking at Thiago Silva potentially, and the partnership, maybe Kurt Zuma, and then Reece James at right back. We've not seen that yet, and I think that's why this West Brom game could be good. Dean Garner's probably the only threat for West Brom. Pereira scored an absolute banger of a free kick, but wasn't really involved in the game in open play. So let's look at the bets, Slav. Let's look at what you've gone for in this game. I think we chatted a lot about Chelsea. Are Chelsea going to win? And you've gone with Werner to score, Havertz to score most goals in the second half.
Yes, I think. There will be goals in both halves. I think I'm convinced that Chelsea are going to run out convincing winners. Havertz to have his first good game of the season, be have more time, be able to express himself. Werner's, he's going to bag more times than he's not. So, and again, as West Brom's resilience starts to tire and their physical attributes start to wane in the second half, Chelsea will punish them.
So, Flav, now let's take a look at my bets. I agree with you with the top one. Timo Werner to score. Only Richarlison in the Premier League has had more shots without scoring a goal than Turbo Timo. And that's why I've got him in at any time. I've got Chelsea to win the game. I think... every time I see West Brom, I feel sorry for them. I feel they're too early in the Premier League. They should have had another season the champ. So Chelsea to win the game and over 4.5 goals. Chelsea were actually a lot better away from home last season in terms of goals, points per game than actually at Stamford Bridge. So I think they're going to be flying the goals in. You can see Tammy, see Werner, Havertz scoring.
But better than away teams at this time where there is no real home advantages, you can get good value there. So it's not a bad shout.
14-1, it's a big one. Now let's take a look at FST's tips for the game, or their bet that they've built. We've got Chelsea to win the game, so we kind of agree with that one. Over 3 goals in the game. We've gone a little bit bigger than them. We've gone a wider punt and Werner to score.
It's quite conservative.
Yeah, it's good. We're linked up. We're absolutely linked up. Free super tips and Statman Dave like this already. So that's it for the Chelsea-West Brom game. I expect it to be a good game. One to watch this weekend in the Premier League. Next up, Flav, we're going to be going to London. West Ham versus Wolves. Both teams suffered defeats last time out. Arsenal and Man City, respectively. After such a positive lockdown for West Ham United, playing at 4-2-3-1, what's happened? What's gone wrong with David Moyes? Of course, he's not actually going to be at the game at the weekend. But what's gone wrong in terms of the style? Is it the structure? Is it stuff outside that?
No, because I think he's been backed. The players that he's wanted to be brought in, West Ham have done their best to bring them in. So he's got the players, he's got the personnel there that he wants. Sullivan was on the radio talking about, he could buy 3 players tomorrow, but I'm only going to do what the manager wants me to do. And he, at the moment, feels like he's got the squad he needs to at least definitely stay in the division. What's gone wrong is what happens when you have a manager like David Moyes, who is a mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, he's forgotten more about football than I will ever know, right? But in terms of Premier League standard, he's a sort of mediocre manager, and you will have these ebbs and flows in form. They'll be fine for the season, but where they will get exposed is when they're playing very good teams. They played Arsenal away, lost there, but they apparently played well by all accounts. And when they inevitably lose to Wolves, it's not the end of the world because Wolves are such a good team. Everybody's second team, right?
Absolutely fantastic team. You're looking at Raul Jimenez, who's been directly involved in 25 Premier League goals since the start of last season. He is such a good technical footballer. You'd love to have him as your number 9.
Well, I mean, we've got a better number 9 at Tottenham, but I wouldn't mind him as a backup. Great player. He'd get into... Their recruitment has been insane, Wolves.
It's been good.
The recruitment of the manager, the back staff, and then the players that they've brought in, I can't remember anything quite like it. Managed to sell on Jota, You know, a lot of their fans were talking last season about removing Jota from the team and giving Podence a go.
Yep.
He's now in there killing it, and we know how good he is. You know, he was leagues above when he was in Greece, and now we're seeing him doing it in the Premier League. As much as you know, they're a rival, you just got to admire what's happened.
You have, and
sure.
now Nelson Semedo as well from Barcelona. They've
Unbelievable.
replaced Matt Doherty with Nelson Semedo. It almost feels like they're cheating.
Yeah,
They're bringing all of Portugal together in a Premier League side that's eventually going to win the lot.
Well, then it makes a mockery of some chairmen saying it's so difficult to get players in when they just, with the right scouting and the right you know, agents involved, you can make things happen.
That's the thing, you can make things happen, but transfers such as Matt Doherty to Spurs, 15 million quid, happen as well.
Absolutely.
With the same way in and out with the links that they have. But let's not go into that too much. Flav, now let's go into your bets. West Ham versus Wolves. What have you got for us?
Definitely goals in the game. West Ham might bag one. You can count on Wolves definitely attacking all 90 minutes. So, yeah. And then obviously one player we haven't even mentioned yet, Traore, who's you know, started out his career as a bit of a, like, you know, this guy's a one-trick pony, didn't make it at Barcelona. And he's found a home at Wolves and has really just, you know, we all know how good he is. He'll definitely bag, I think. Jimenez is, you know, odds on in most games. Certainly against West Ham, you know, missing defenders at the back. You know, we're not sure how they're going to set up. They're going to have to reshuffle with attackers potent as Wolves. I can't see anything other than Wolves bagging at least 2 or 3 goals.
I think Traore as well will be played higher up with Semedo joining, probably going to play right wing back. That means Traore's further forward,
Some pace on the
where
right
he can
side.
do the damage. But I don't have him in my bet.
Okay.
I've not got him in.
All right.
I've got Wolves. I've backed Wolves in my bet, but we've not got him in the anytime goal scorer. Thinking Wolves double chance, draw. I think that's a good bet. I think Wolves look very, very good. Even in the City game, they created a lot of chances. Podence, you mentioned before, looks like a top player. Both teams to score, we're going to smash that on as well. And Mikel Antonio to score any time. He has the 3rd best XG in the league. The goals will come.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's why you're here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why he's still in my FPL team. I haven't hooked him yet because he's doing the numbers in the background. So that's kind of why I've gone with that bet. Now let's move on to FSTs. Bet builder for today. Got Wolves to win the game and Jimenez any time. Seems like a good defensive option, that. Now moving from East London to North London, we've got to talk about Spurs. Gareth Bale is back. Spurs now have 2 of the players that have scored over 20 goals in a single league season in the 21st century, in Harry Kane and Gareth Bale.
I know, incredible. Spurs have been so long, you know, we lose our talismanic player and we'll find another one. And we've got 2 of them together now for the first time. Like, we've lost Modric, we've lost all these players. Carrick went to you lot, and, you know, finally we've got some grandstand players playing that same team together. We're really excited about Gareth Bale coming back. It's more than just football. There's this lovely poetic storyline behind it. So we're
golf is involved in that story, definitely.
Well, indeed. But the thing is that we, you know, I don't think it's lost on any Spurs fans that there is a risk with this. You know, his injuries are significant, and there's always something not quite right about going back in football. It doesn't tend to work that often. That said, you've got to give it a go. If the option's there to sign Gareth Bale, you have to.
You have to definitely do that. I think the 4-3-3 Mourinho played last week as well will suit Gareth Bale playing higher up the pitch. Heung-min Son, of course, grabbed 4 goals, playing in that higher position. Kane was that link man. The first combination of 2 players, to one of them to assist the other one 4 times in Premier League history. That was a long-winded stat, but we got there in the end. But I think that'll suit Gareth Bale. Playing on the last man, using his pace, using his strength, and of course he can finish so well on that left foot coming from the right-hand side.
Absolutely, you can. And his acquisition to the side means that we can play a 4-3-3. That Kane will be able to drop into that number 10 position with the players overlapping. And if he does that, then he's lethal. And a lot of people have criticised Kane that he's only a tapping merchant, or he's just a goal scorer, he's a goal hanger, he does anything. The reality is he's a brilliant footballer, and he has an incredible wand of a right foot and an amazing amount of vision. You saw, we knew this assist, his assists in previous season haven't been up there, but we know how good a passer he is. And obviously you saw it in that game last week against Southampton where he assisted 4 times. But yeah, that would help us play in a number of different systems. But the best teams in the world seem to play at 4-3-3, and hopefully we can too.
Absolutely. So let's move on to your bet straight away and see what you got for the game. Are you on with the Gareth Bale goal? No, you haven't, but you've gone Callum Wilson anytime. That's interesting. We haven't really touched on Newcastle.
No.
They brought in Fraser and they brought in Wilson from Bournemouth. They've looked good. Jeff Hendrick as well has made a good start. But you're going to go Wilson to score?
Well, only because Tottenham are quite porous. You know, we're good going forward. We're finding opportunities on the break. The problem, though, is if Newcastle sit back, they're not going to give us an opportunity and doesn't play into Mourinho's style. He likes the counter-attack, and if Newcastle sit back and soak up, as they did last season when they beat us 1-0 at home, then it's going to be a long day for Tottenham. But, Wilson, quality player, great acquisition. I was a bit jealous when he signed for Newcastle. I can see him bagging, but I can also see Harry Kane as well. So, yeah, to win from behind, they go up early. We run out 2-1 winners.
Forecasted the entire thing. Beautiful. Only West Brom, Fulham and Leeds United have conceded more shots on goal than Tottenham Hotspur this season. So that, Wilson to score is a good bet. I've not quite got that in there, but in my bet, I've got both teams to score. So let's take a look at my bet right now. We've got Harry Kane anytime, we've got Son anytime, we've got both teams to score. I just think these guys at the moment, they look so hot. They look such in-form players right now that you can't look past them in this bet.
Yeah, I just can't see it. If Spurs win, it will be a low-scoring game. Newcastle get a point, get a goal earlier, and sit behind that goal. Then there won't be great opportunities for Son and Kane, and the goals have come from for both of those since Mourinho's turning is on the break. If they don't allow us to break, we find it very difficult to score.
So we've gone big. We've gone big on Tottenham scoring first. That's the bet, the Statman Dave bet builder today. Let's take a look at FST's bet builder as well, because those guys have usually got it right. They've gone Newcastle draw, double chance, and also under 3 goals in the match. So they kind of agree with you. It's going to be a little bit of a snore fest.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be an exciting game. No game under Mourinho is exciting, but it's about getting the points at the end of the day. I think they're wrong with the draw. I do think Spurs will win, but it won't be a resounding victory as we saw against Southampton.
So now we've got to move into one of the best games of this weekend, Man City versus Leicester City. KDB looked in great form in the opening game against Wolves. Yeah. He's the best player in the league by a mile, right?
Yeah, he should be playing. He's always in great form. When is he ever out of form? And when you have a player as good as that, surrounded by the great players that he's already got, he's always going to be able to dictate games. And what would be great about this one, Leicester and Man City, is that both teams want to play. Leicester won't, they'll go out there and play their own style. Brendan Rodgers always played expansive football, which is great to see. And but it's just about how can you pin down KDB? How can you stop him from playing? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if anyone does know.
It's very, very difficult controlling that inside, right half space. It's just, he's so good. He can underlap. He can drop deep. He can become a goal threat. He's sensational on the dribble. He's the complete player.
He's
the complete midfielder.
So he is human.
He is human, but not, probably half alien, half human, Kevin De Bruyne, because he is that good. Leicester City, on the other hand, I thought they looked really good against Burnley. I think the fullbacks, Castinho, who's been brought in from Atalanta, and James Justin looked good. They also brought Cengiz Under this week. A really interesting left-footed attacker that likes to get onto the end of moves, which I think is perfect for Leicester City and Brendan Rodgers. They have a lot of possession, but they need someone there that's going to support Vardy.
Yeah, for sure, and that's going to be the eternal issue with Leicester, is can they bring in the players that will be able to support Vardy and take advantage of the vast amount of possession they like to have. I don't think this game will be a barometer of where they are yet. The new players need to bed in, and I think we're still in the formative years of Brendan Rodgers' Leicester. There's more to come from them. So, but yeah, this game against Manchester City probably isn't a barometer of where they're at yet. We'll see in coming months.
We'll definitely see. Flav, let's take a look at your bets though. Have you got Man City in there? Have you got Leicester City in there? Got City to win the second half and Vardy to score any time. So that Vardy shout is great. He's only scored more goals against Liverpool, Bournemouth and Arsenal.
Loves a goal against big sides.
Loves a goal against big sides. He's got 6 against Man City in around 10 games, including that hat-trick.
That's
the season they won the league. So I like that. City to win the second half. City do seem to, push on at the Etihad.
They're a machine, aren't they? I mean, I know they weren't incredible towards the end of the season when Leicester. It's clear that Liverpool had won it, but you can't bet against Man City and Pep Guardiola's men.
Absolutely not. Phil Foden as well could be good. 6 goals in his last 10 Premier League games since the competition was resumed after lockdown. But let's take a look at my bets, because I'm backing KDB again. I've just got to back him every week. He is that good. And now he's on penalties. KDB anytime. That's going to come a lot, of course, on free super tips, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. KDB against Wolves was ranked first for final third passes, ball recoveries, chances created, tackles won, and shots on target. They're 4 different stats there, or 5 different stats that are very different parts of a game, but he's doing it all. He's tackling, he's winning the ball back, he's creating, he's shooting, he's completing passes in the final third. The man is a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I dread to think how much it'd cost if anyone even could afford him.
Yeah, 200 million?
Probably,
300 million?
Probably.
I don't know, Vardy anytime, I agree with that previous stat that I pulled out. I'm also going to go 3.5 goals in the match. I think Laporte's coming back into the team, but City still haven't upgraded their defence.
No, but they play in a system. They're not porous. They are good defensively. They haven't upgraded it. No, but I don't think they'll have match issues in defence. there you go. Those 4 goals you need from essentially that. So
it's going to happen. KDB with the 4. Let's go on to free super tips. Bet builder as well and see what they've got. They've got Man City to win. I think that's not really in discussion at the moment. Over 3 goals in the game. Jesus to score any time.
Not bad.
Guerrero's still out. Jesus is the number 9. He will get chances at home.
Yeah, and do you know what? It'd be good for him because he's never really been given that extended role up top, playing number 9, where he likes to play. He's played second fiddle to Aguero, rightly so. But Aguero's out for another 2 months at least. So we'll finally see what Jesus can do. Can he start to deliver consistently in the Premier League? Probably.
So now the second blockbuster fixture of the weekend. Liverpool versus Arsenal. Arteta versus Jurgen Klopp. The replay of the Community Shield, which Arteta's Arsenal won on penalties. But let's start by talking about Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool and the potency of their front 3, or front 2, should we say. Salah scores a hat-trick game week 1. Mane a brace against Chelsea. It's so good to be Liverpool right now.
I mean, yeah, it's almost embarrassing how good they are. Their front line's incredible. Even Firmino, though he doesn't score many goals, he's there, his movement, his guile and his skill and vision enables Mane and Salah to benefit in the way that they do. And that's without mentioning the fact that Jota's been brought in, perhaps isn't the level of those 3 yet, but pushes them, it keeps them lively. And one of my issues with Klopp before they made these recent signings is are these guys going to be motivated because they've won the league? Will they be able to reach the levels they did last season by bringing players in underneath him? That's a great way to motivate these forwards.
We haven't even spoke about the greatest signing of this season's Premier League. Thiago came off the bench at half-time, completed 74 passes. That's the most of any sub in Premier League history.
Yep, okay, good for them. Another brilliant player they've got. and 20 million, was it? 20 million?
Yeah, whatever it was, 30 million euros. But his ability to control the tempo,
unbelievable.
That's just going to take Liverpool to the next level. You could see maybe Fabinho playing centre-back. I thought he was sensational up against Timo Werner.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Scary.
And the fact that he's, by trade, he's not a centre-back. He played right-back for Monaco and played in midfield, but he looked completely comfortable. And you'd even think if he started there for the rest of the season, they'd have no issue at all. And that's without even talking about Joe Gomez coming back. So,
how are you supposed to deal with the power of Virgil van Dijk and then the power of Fabinho at centre-back? It could be the way to go. You're thinking working those together. You've got Thiago sitting at the base of midfield. You could throw the energy of Henderson and Wijnaldum ahead of them. Like, you've got the evolution of this Liverpool team, and I think that's why they're so scary. Talking about evolution, Arsenal have massively, massively improved under Arteta. Their 3-4-3 looks great. What aspirations, though, should they have this season? The late goal, the Nketiah goal, got the win against West Ham, 6 out of 6 points in the Prem. Yep. What should they be looking for?
Well, if I take my Spurs hat off for a second, we've got to remember they played Fulham and they played West Ham, who was decent. Okay, so taking my Spurs hat off.
Taking the hat off, there's still very much
let's not get too carried away by two wins in the Premier League in the first two. But there's clearly been a huge improvement. As soon as he's come in, he's dropped Guendouzi. Ozil was nowhere near the squad. And while these are both great players, it's his way, it's his rule, and the player's going to respect that. And if you've already got talented players playing under a manager that they respect and they want to listen to, then you're going to see improvements. They look really good. It pains me to say it, they do look good. The aspirations for the season, if they finish in the top 4, that would be a massive season for them. I don't see it yet, but we'll see.
We will see. But they are in your bet. Are you going to go with an Arsenal away win?
Yep.
Absolutely not. We've got goal scorers galore. We've got Salah to score, Mane to score, Aubameyang to sore, and exactly 3 goals in the game. This is pinpoint.
75-1. I couldn't
look, you've really got... I like the boldness in this, and if this comes off, you'll look like an absolute genius and you'll take the victory for the weekend.
Oh, yes.
But explain to me, was this a premonition, a dream, or is this analysis?
Well, I just see Liverpool winning 2-1, and I see Salah, Mane scoring for Liverpool and Aubameyang for... But these are the players that score. 2-1 seems like a decent... I think the most common result is 2-1 in the Premier League. 75-1, you can't ignore it. You need one to properly whack up your bet.
You need one to properly jump you up. I've gone far more conservative in my bet. I've gone for the W, and I've gone for Liverpool to win the match, and of course under 3.5 goals. I agree it's going to be a tight affair. Yeah. I could see a 2-1, a 1-1. The Community Shield was a 1-1 draw. The Premier League game between the two sides back in the last season was 2-1. I expect a tight game. Liverpool was so professional against Chelsea as well. Yeah, they got the 2-goal lead, and they just...
But
slowed it down.
Against 10 men, but they're in complete control. And when you've got a player like Thiago in midfield, you can do that. But what I would say, by look at your bets, David, there's no wonder you won 2-0 last week. Well, you're very conservative.
I'm playing the percentages. This is what I believe will happen. 6-4, great value. great victory if you pull off. Of course, gamble responsibly. Now let's check free super tips. Bet builder, what have they gone for? Liverpool to win the game over 3 goals. So they're thinking it's going to be pumping up, absolute open as anything, and Salah to score anytime. Agreeing with yourself. I think that Salah goes through those phases. He's better at home than he is away.
Yep.
So it could be a time for him to score. Mane's grabbed the brace last game. It's kind of his turn to score.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's very conservative as well. I only need to win my one bet, and
You're an absolute champ.
I'm walking away like a don. Yeah. So.
And there we have it. We have built some bets today. Flav, thanks for coming down.
Pleasure.
Where can the people find you?
At Love the Shirt on Twitter or thefightingcock.co.uk.
And of course, gamble responsibly to get involved with any of our accumulators today. Of course, we'll be back next time for some more bet builders.